Hello and welcome. I am Stacey Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas. On Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstaceythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hello. Welcome to the Stacey Thomas Show. Once again, I am truly blessed to have another awesome person on my platform. If you see me glance down, it's because we're doing something that I've been doing for a while, but I forgot to tell you guys. So we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. In case you can't stay on your laptop or whatever, and you're riding down the road, you can catch all the shows, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And when I say I'm glancing down, it's because Stacey wants to make sure she knows what she's doing. Okay, so I'm going to bring a very special guest on who's someone that I not only follow, but who has been a big part of me growing and coming out of a shell when we first met. Let's welcome Lesley to the show.
Well, thank you, Miss Thomas. Thank you kindly. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you, Lesley. I'm thankful that you've come on the show. And that made me feel good to be able to say how I know you, because I remember the very first time I met you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's when I was a little shy about the books and you stood outside of the venue and gave me a pep talk or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no surprise to me what you're doing now, Lesley, because hey, it's been a little over 10 years. And if you were blessing a stranger back then, why would I be surprised that you're blessing people today?
Oh my gosh, 10 years, Stacey. Wow.
It's been a little over 10 years, Lesley.
Wow. And forgive me, I'm trying to share the show on my other
share it, sweetheart, and see what I mean. You're always, well, I'm just gonna talk and then I'm gonna let you tell when you ready?
Let's go. I just wish this background wasn't so delayed. Well, not the background, but I wasn't so delayed over here. It feels like I'm moving like a robot.
It's okay, sweetheart. Do me a favor. For those of the people that are watching, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I can share a lot, but since we're talking about next transition, I'll just focus on that. I've been in human services probably the last 20 years. That sounds like a long time. So I have a passion for helping people. And of course, human services is a helping profession. I started in social services. I worked for Richmond Redevelopment and Housing. I'm trying to think of some other places that I've worked for that has required that human touch. I've worked for the city of Richmond in different roles. I've also worked for DOC, Department of Corrections, here in Richmond, Virginia. And so that's where this passion came from starting Next Transitions.
Wow. And it's okay, Lesley. You shortened that bio. I was actually going to ask about the other things also, but I want you to say, because nobody can sell Lesley like she can sell herself. What are the other things that you're involved in before we get to talking about this new venture that you've taken on?
So I started as a self-published author. That was my start. It's crazy how that even started, because I never had the desire to be an author. I met a gentleman out one night. In fact, it was Applebee's that was on Laburnum. And he's talking about his magazine. He was like, hey, I forgot what he was doing exactly. Oh, he wanted stuff to go in his magazine. I said, well, by the time our event happens, by the time your magazine comes out, our event would have already passed. And we ended up exchanging numbers. We talked, and that's where the book came from. My first book, which was A Lesson Learned. From there, I did book number 2, which was Choices. I have a couple of other books, but they're not what is it, urban fiction. So I did a customer service book. I've done a book to help vendors as they, try to figure out, okay, should I do this? Should I not do this? Are they going to scam me? So I've done that. You remember potion number 2. So that's a concoction. Very similar to poopery.
Uh-huh.
I've done that. I've had like several organizations dedicated to brand building, entrepreneurs and business owners. Currently now I have a glue apparel, which is my t-shirt business. So yeah, I've just had my hands in a lot of different things. There's some other things I've done, business showers. So I've done a number of things, but again, that I'm really passionate about helping people. But I think with everything that I've been able to do in some fashion, in some way, I've been able to help people.
Wow. Wow. And with all that you have done, and you're one of those people, Lesley.
Mm-hmm.
I don't put you in a box. I don't put you in a box. Anywhere from, I know I should not, from the conversations that I've had with you, from the
Mm-hmm.
things that you've been doing over the years. And it always seems like whenever you do something, Lesley, you give it your all and you're good at it. You're good at it. So,
Thank you.
and on social media, Lesley, even with all you're doing, tell us about these pages you have and why you have them.
So let's go back. I'm trying to think how long ago it was, but I had a online magazine. It's called EDP 365, and from the magazine that grew into, well, we transitioned that into Blog Talk Radio, and then when Facebook Live started being available, it was like, okay, wow, this is a bigger platform. Let's do something with it. And so you remember Chris?
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, our good friend Chris. Um, Chris and I did, along with some other folks, Melody Whitaker, Todd Moody, and Sandy Badu. We were the hosts of Everyday People 365, and with that, we were able to talk to different people, similar to your platform. Maybe not as fancy, but similar to
Really? You guys had wine.
so similar to your platform. That was probably the thing that helped me to be able to get out and reach more people and talk to more people and have, a lot of the connections that I have today. So that was probably like the first group that I had. Then I have a group called Meet, Connect, Promote. And that was just for people to be able to come together and kind of meet, exchange ideas. So I started that group. What are the other ones? I had a girls' night out, but that didn't quite work out because I had men coming on there and it was just too much.
Yeah.
So it's still I don't want to say, well, I guess it's still, you could say it's active, but I'm not really doing anything. I actually tried to close that page down. What else? I'm trying to think of the other pages that I have. Loving the Skin I'm In, which is attached to my Loving the Skin I'm In yearly women's conference, online conference that I have every year. So it's attached to that. Then I have my glue apparel pages. And then the biggest is going to be my Richmond events and vendors. And the reason I started that one was because, I was always looking for different events and, trying to find things that were happening in the Richmond area and probably surrounding counties. And that's like one of the biggest group. I think I have over like 24,000 people in this group. So just an opportunity for people to be able to see some events that were out there, post events, maybe connect with some other brand builders, entrepreneurs, and business owners. So that was the reason for starting that group. So I have a couple of groups.
Wow.
Just a couple.
Congratulations. And congratulations on your new organization,
Thank
Next
you.
Chance Transitions. Lesley,
Yes.
I was really excited when I saw it on Facebook to learn more. I think that's the first post I saw. I think I immediately text you like what's
Mhm.
going on. Tell us about it. What's the mission for Next Chance Transitions?
So the idea came, as I said, I used to work for the Department of Corrections, and I was the workforce development specialist. And what that means is helping women as they transition out of prison. So it's taking them through this course. I think it was like a couple of weeks, just taking them, preparing them, giving them life skills, making sure they have a resume, looking at, their job history and things like that, but just helping them to prepare as they transition out. And I can remember there was one class and there was a lady that just stopped and started talking to me. She said, you know what? I can't remember what she said verbatim, but in essence, what she was saying was, you're destined to do other things other than just being here. She said, something is going to happen for you and you're going to help women beyond where you are. And I was like, okay. And it kind of touched me a little bit. And so from that point, I just started thinking about, how do I help these women who are transitioning out? When you work in the prison system, it's just so many things that you have access to and you gain knowledge of. And during that time, I found out that men have more resources than women as they transition out. Now, I'm not saying that women don't have any, but in working in the prison system, I found that men have a lot more resources coming out than women. So
Really?
from there, it was, I want to help these women. What can I do? And so initially started with the desire to have transitional housing, but it's so much involved in doing transitional housing. I mean, there is lots of stuff involved in transitional housing. And Stacey, when you have a vision, when something comes into your spirit, sometimes you don't know all of the ins and outs in order for this vision to come to light. And so I'm thinking transitional housing, I only have to do so many things where, like I said, it's just a laundry list of things that you have to do in order to start transitional housing in Virginia. And so, I've got my board together, I got all this stuff happening, and then COVID came.
Oh, wow. So you actually started this a few years ago.
Back in 2019.
Oh, wow.
2019, the initial idea was to start transitional housing. So as these women leave, they've got a house they can go to, because again, sometimes, there are not a lot of choices for them as far as that transitional piece, moving from prison back into society. And so we were right in the midst of COVID. So you got to have all these policies and things like that. We had our policies together. I'm trying to think what happened. So we had our policies together. We submitted everything. And what happened was we got it sent back to us saying, hey guys, you're missing this piece. We fixed it, sent it back, and then we didn't hear anything. Because again, wow, here comes COVID. So during that time, and it was the Department of Behavioral Health Services, I think that's the correct title. But during this time, they were transitioning as well. So they were doing their transitioning. During that time of COVID, people were leaving their jobs, they were quitting, they were doing early retirement. And so it was hard to get in touch with people. It was hard to find out what we were doing and where we were at. Then during that time, they created this portal. Well, they already had the portal, but when we signed up initially, you didn't have to do everything through the portal. So it got to a point where you had to do stuff through this portal. You had to be trained on the portal. And so it was just like, okay, there's a lot. So again, like I said, it was hard to get in touch with people. And then me and my business partner, and I have to tell him all the time, we dropped the ball as well. A lot of people always want to talk about the government this and the government that, and they didn't do this and they didn't do that. And I had to tell my business partner that during our frustration, we dropped the ball.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there was a halt. We had been working on it for a while because, again, there's so much involved with starting transitional housing, especially when you want to get payments from the state to be able to help people through Medicaid and some different avenues. And so, like I said, at that point, it was just like, here we are.
So with you thinking transitional housing was what you were supposed to do or what you wanted to do, when you realized that that wasn't something that could happen immediately, were you discouraged or did you immediately say, well, if I can't do that, I'm going to do something?
Well, I'm going to say this, Stacey. When we start going through the process of getting connected to DBHDS, at that point we knew it was going to be a process, because I had several people, because I know several people who have group homes and things like that. So we already knew that the process was going to be lengthy. We just didn't
Okay.
realize it was going to be that lengthy. And so,
Okay.
as I stated, because there was just so much, we can't get in touch with anybody, nobody's calling. When you do get somebody on the phone, they're very vague and giving you responses to your question. We dropped the ball. We didn't really follow through and do anything else. So what happened was, through my 9 to 5, I go into a lot of prisons now. Currently, I
Okay.
go into a lot of prisons, talking about different programs and things that are available to them once they leave incarceration. And two things happened. There was an event in Petersburg at that bus station.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an event there, and as I'm sitting there and I'm talking about the program for my 9 to 5, there's a lady that comes up and she has a program for domestic violence.
Okay.
And so as we're talking to it was just in my spirit, get this lady's telephone number, get her card. I got her card. Same thing happened. I went out to, there's a prison out in Chesterfield. And so I went to one of their resource fairs, and there was another lady. I'm sitting there by myself, and well, not by myself, but anyway, there was an empty table next to mine. And so she sat down, and initially I didn't talk to her. And Stacey, you know me, I'm an introvert. You may not think I am, but I'm an
Yeah.
introvert. So it takes me a while to kind of warm up to people and have conversations. So eventually she and I started talking. I got her information. And from that point, I knew what I wanted to do. This is
Wow.
how we're going to help these women. We're going to start putting care packages together for these women and help them as they transition out.
Lesley, I would think the biggest challenge for people
Mm-hmm.
coming out of prison is finding a place to live. But
Mm-hmm.
is it, or what is the biggest challenge for someone?
Stacey, I would say that's one of the barriers. I think you have to, with that, it sometimes it's going to depend on situations.
Okay.
There are some people who come out of prison and they have a home. Maybe
Okay.
she was married and her husband's, holding the family down while she's
Right.
there. So she has a home. Um, you have people who are still dealing with drug addiction. So that's one of the big factors. And just to give you an example, somebody who went through the program at DOC, she was doing well. I got her connected to a job, and I found out that she got fired because she was doing drugs.
Wow.
There was another instance where, and you can still, some people get drugs in prison. That's no secret. So another lady going through the program, she goes home, and I probably like maybe a month or two later, I got information that she overdosed. So again, you're looking at housing, you're looking at drug addiction, employment. That's something else that's challenging, is going to be people trying to find employment. So that's an issue as well. For instance, I actually had an event today that I'm sorry, Stacey, hold on, my alarm is
That's
going off.
okay.
Okay. So there was an event that I went to today, and I met somebody who was incarcerated in states. He had gotten out like years ago. He's been out for a while, and he
Hmm.
just talked about how challenging it is for him to gain employment. He said, "It's not that I don't want to work. I've been out here hitting the pavement. I'm going here, I'm going there, and I just keep getting turned down." Um, and in some of the places like temp services, which I really dislike, a lot of the temp services will hire these people who have something on their background, and then as soon as the opportunity comes for them to be able to gain employment and work permanently at just different locations, is, we can't hire you because you have this or that on your background, but I could work here temporarily. So
But
it's
they
just,
can't. But they can't get any
right,
benefits.
exactly. So it's just so many different barriers for people who are leaving prison. It's not just housing, it's multiple things. Multiple things. I also want to say, in regards to housing, when people are getting ready to come out of prison, they have to have a home plan. They have to have a home plan. Um, so with a lot of them, some of them are going to transitional housing, some of them are going to maybe a family's house, or a relative's house, or a friend's house. So like I said, oh yeah, this is definitely a needed program. So as I stated, it's just it's multiple barriers, Stacey. Not just the housing piece. There's multiple barriers.
So Lesley, this does not sound well anything worth having, or when it's coming to when you want to help people, sometimes it's
Hmm.
not as easy as we want it to be. But when
Hmm.
we talk about the women that are coming out that you help, my question is this, in case there's someone watching that has a relative that's coming out soon.
Hmm.
Um, how how do you know who to help, Lesley?
So I'm sorry, y'all. My sweet girl just came in the room.
Oh, your grandmother
Um,
now, right?
yeah. So what?
Congratulations.
Thank you. So how we've designed Next Trans Transition is we have a request form. And on this
Okay.
request form, there are a number of different things that they can choose from. For instance, um, what is it? Body wash, lotion, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes, um, nail kits, grooming kits. Hold on, because I can't hear. Here, go take this to mommy. Take it to mommy. Let mommy see it, okay? Take it to mommy to look at, okay? Sorry about that.
That's
So
okay.
we provide a list of things that they can choose from. So because I worked for DOC in the past, I have connection. Well, I hate to say connections, but I still have relationships with people
Okay.
in DOC.
Okay.
So it's easy for me to say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. Can you help?" So that's how it started. Um, just having worked for DOC in the past, and so the staff person at DOC gets this form, and what they do is they give it to the ladies who are getting out probably within the next 3 months or so.
Okay.
What we do is we go through that list, package everything up, and we get it to the prison prior to these ladies getting out.
So you're not like, like people say they're going to help people, but then they look at names, they look at what people have done, and they make a decision, oh, these should be helped. We're not going to worry about these. You're basically, when you get that list of women that are leaving and coming in your area, you
Hmm.
guys are not picking based on who they are, where they come from, what they did. You're just helping them.
We don't know what they did.
Okay.
We have no idea what they did. So all we're getting back on this list is, oh, and that delay is just driving me insane. But I wonder if I change, and it's probably not gonna make a difference. But um I'm just gonna see if this will make a difference, Stacey. Because I'm telling you, that is just driving me insane. Okay. So that's so much better. Now you get to see my office slash craft room. But
So,
so the only thing is that's on there is their name, the date they're being released, where they're being released to, email address if they have it, telephone number if they have it. Because what we want to do is we want to be able to follow up with them if we can. Because a lot of women leaving prison, with the prisons that we're working with right now, a lot of them are not staying in Richmond. So yeah, we don't ask that. We don't ask why they're there.
I love it. I love what you're doing. And Tawanda Parker, look, she asked before I got a chance to ask. It's
Okay.
nice to know that people want to know how to help. So we can put this on the screen, Lesley. How do they donate? How do they get things to you? I'm gonna type this up.
So they can actually call me, and then I'm going to I can type in here, right, Stacey? I haven't
Okay,
done
you can put it in the
StreamYard in a
comments,
while.
and if you give me the number, I'm gonna put it on the screen.
804 852 9275. I'm also going to text you something, Stacey, and that's the
Okay.
link because we're actually on Facebook under Next Trans Transitions. So they can
Okay.
actually go to the page, and on the page, you can see all of the different things that we've been able to donate. You can see one of the prisons, some of the prisons we can't take pictures, but if
Okay.
you go to the Next Trans Transitions page, you'll actually see the different things there. And I'm getting ready to text you
So,
the
and
link.
on that page, people are gonna
Mhm.
see what it is that that you're asking for, the things you're asking for?
Yes. So
Okay.
I also want to say we're not just limited to what we have, because I've had people to donate other things. Tawala, and I have to share her name, Tawala Booker Shepperson. When I first started, she was actually the first person that donated to me, that actually handed me something. So she gave us all these bags that we could put these items in. So, initially I'm not thinking about bags. I'm just thinking about what can go in a bag.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
one of the people on my team, her name is Barbara Coleman, and she is freaking phenomenal. I don't know how she did it, but we were able to get brand new coats and puffer vests from Amazon for free.
Really?
For free.
Talk,
So
talk
like I
about blessings.
Yeah, so like I said, if you go over to the Next Trans Transition page, you can actually see those coats and you can see those vests. So Stacey, as things keep coming to me, I know that this is God's blessing for me. And Stacey, because we've known each other for a long time, and with so many things that I've done, God has opened the door. I'm not going to say that He hasn't. I've been blessed in a lot of the things that I've been able to do, but doors have not opened as quickly and as frequently with other things as they have with Next Trans Transitions.
That's how you
You
know. That's how you
right,
know, Lesley.
right. You want to talk about God given. I can recall it was something we needed. I can't remember what it was. It was something that we needed, and we talked about it as an organization. And like the next day, we had it.
Lesley, it's funny that you said that because me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of things, right? And I'm at the point in my life that I am asking God,
Mm-hmm.
what exactly is it that I'm supposed to do? Because I feel like when you're trying this, trying that, it's
Mm-hmm.
not working quite the way you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to find a difference. I told somebody, people will say, keep trying at it. All
Mm-hmm.
works according to God's plan. Well, what if it's not working because I'm not doing what it is
Uh-huh.
God wants me to
Mm-hmm.
do? So it's funny. Well, it's nice that you said what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe, like, when we're blessing others or when we're doing what it is that God wants us to do, Lesley, what you say, you speak it one day and it happens the next.
It several times, and I'm looking down, Stacey, because I'm trying to get you this link.
Okay.
Okay, so I just sent you the Facebook link. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just amazing. Just a number of things that like I said, the doors that have opened for this organization. And again, Stacey, you've known me for 10 years, so you probably are familiar with just about every single thing that I've done over the time that I've been a brand builder, entrepreneur, and business owner. I am officially a 501c3 organization.
Congratulations.
So
Congratulations.
yeah, so just recently, probably in the last 2 months, I'm now SWAM certified. So yes, ma'am,
Lesley,
I am SWAM certified.
sweetheart, congratulations.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, I've said before, Lesley, when you start something and you're working at it, you don't go halfway, but you're really doing it. This right here, right now, Lesley.
Mhm.
So you're creating the bags for them. Tell us, what do you see, Lesley? What do you see? What are you expecting to do? Um, what are you going to add to this? What do you want to add to this? If someone wanted to help you, what is it that they can help you with because you're trying to do the next thing?
Right now, I continue to donate. It's some things that I do want to do. I just don't. It's in my spirit right now. It's just saying certain things I can't put out there right now.
I get it.
Um, Without giving too much in certain areas, I want to be able to help these women as much as I can, because when these women come out of jail, out of prison, Stacey, they have DMV fines. Most of them, maybe not all, but most of them have DMV fines. Most of them have, what is it, DMV. They also have court fines. And I've seen like this go into the thousands. I'm not talking about you owe a $50 fine here and a $25. I'm talking about thousands of dollars that these women owe. Um, So when coming home, you have that on your mind. Okay, I got to pay these fines because I need a car or I need to
Right.
drive. And so we just want to lessen the burden from them as much for them as much as we can.
Okay.
That's the goal present day, is to figure out how we can help them as much as we can. So as I stated, I often have the opportunity to go in the prison. So I'm there one day and I forgot why I was there, probably doing some kind of presentation or something. I can't remember. So I'm there and I'm talking to the ladies, and the lady that I used to work with, I said, can we just have some ladies to come around in a circle and just talk? So we had a focus group, so to speak.
Okay.
And I was able to ask them, well, what kind of things would y'all like? What things will help you as you transitioning out? Now, some of these ladies are working. So they work during the day and then they go back to the prison.
Okay.
So they gave us a list of things that they will, the things that they want, and the things that will help. So I had to ask the question because we had already had a list of things before we went into the prison. And so my question to them was, will these things help you that we've already noted for you? And a couple of them said, yeah, it's going to be, a great help to us because that's money we don't have to spend.
Right.
I don't have to spend money on personal hygiene items. I don't have to spend money on whatever else we can provide as an organization.
Right.
So, of course, right now, just being able to make sure that at each and every turn, every time these ladies submit something to me from the ladies who are in prison, okay, Lesley, these are the people who are getting out. This is what they requested. We will always want to make sure that we have inventory. But my ultimate goal, Stacey, is to help. And I'm going to tell you something funny. And again, I'm going to show you how God works. So my ultimate goal is to help women across Virginia. Okay. Not just Richmond and surrounding counties, but across the state of Virginia. That's the ultimate goal.
You're giving me chills.
Huh?
You're giving me chills.
and Stacey, to provide transitional housing. So I'm going to tell you something. So the other morning, I was talking about when you're praying and you're asking God for things and you're manifesting over your life, you've got to be prepared for those things to happen. When you're asking for things, you got to be ready. And I normally don't talk about what I pray for, what I manifest over my life, and I just said to you, I want to help women across Virginia. So right now, I've got 2 prisons that I'm working with present day right now. They've already gotten donations from Next Chance Transitions. And so I just had a conversation with another lady. I was in a meeting and I meet a lot of people. I was in the meeting and the girl walks up to me. She's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, girl, how are you? She's like, you don't remember me? I said, no, not really. Not really. Who are you? So, she said who she was. I was like, oh, okay. She was like, when are you coming to my prison? And I said, you are way out in Fluvanna County. I ain't coming out there.
Lesley.
I'm not coming out there. And so as we're talking, she's like, oh, I'll do this and I'll do that for you to come out. And I'm like, how far is Fluvanna? Because I've been to Fluvanna. I have, because when I was working for DOC, I had to go to the different prisons just to see what they were like. So anyway, I had to stop, Stacey. I had to stop and say, this is what you ask God for. You ask God to get you across the state of Virginia. And if you can't take yourself to Fluvanna, which is an hour away, how are you going to get to 3 hours away? How are you going to get to 4 hours away when this is what you've asked God for? So that's why I say when you ask God for things, when you manifest over your life, you have to be in position to receive it. You have to put yourself in a place where you're getting ready and when you're getting prepared for that. So I know a lot of the things that has brought me to March 19th at 7:33 p.m. on a Wednesday night has been preparation to lead me to where I am. And so I actually have a meeting with her tomorrow. So this will be the 3rd prison.
So you're going to Fluvanna?
Not tomorrow.
No, but you're going to go to Fluvanna.
Yeah, I'm going. So tomorrow. So, and again, it's God working, because my 9 to 5 ties me to prisons where I can go in prisons and talk about our programs. So I can go in and talk about our program, but then on the other hand, I can go in and introduce this program and start helping these ladies out as well. And again, here's something else, because at this point now, I don't do the donations anymore. My mom actually does them. I did the first couple because I just, oh my gosh, this is my baby. It's happening. So now my mom is actually doing the donations. We put the bags together. My mom drops them off. Some of them I still do. And so I said, well, in my mind, I'm like, well, Fluvanna is a really long ride. My mom's not probably going to do Fluvanna. Guess where the girl lives at?
Richmond, and she driving back and forth to Fluvanna.
Easton Henrico.
She
Easton
can take it
Henrico.
with her.
So we can meet her, and I hope I could put that out there. You know, really not supposed to tell stuff like that for people working in DOC.
But you can.
But we can drive the stuff to her 20 minutes away.
Wow.
And she can get the stuff to these ladies.
Lesley, and you said something this last time. You said being where you are gives you an advantage. It helps you, right? That reminds me when I've said to people, sometimes you got to be careful how you complain about where you are. Because I truly believe that there's a reason you are where you are. If not to receive the blessing for you, but to bless someone at that place. And then when I think about real estate, Lesley, DMV, and some of the things that I remember saying, God, why am I doing all these things, right? This isn't what I really want to do. But Lesley, I can go back to everything that I've done. It's built me to do what I'm doing now. From meeting the people, from learning a job, from the people, like just being kind to people, selling real estate. I mean, everything played a part in who we are today.
Even the obstacles. You think about
Even
some of the obstacles that you faced in your life and where you are present day. So like I said, Stacey, and I used to say this, and I know it's going to sound confusing to people. I move forward looking back. And what I mean by that is, as I continue on this journey of my life, I look back and think about jobs that I've had. I look back and I think about connections that I've had. For example, let me think. Okay. So probably well into me being into my 30s, I never wanted to speak in public. Never wanted to be on camera, anything. And I end up applying for a job with the city of Richmond, Department of Social Services. And I get the job. Well, I found out I had to be in front of people speaking. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. You know, and it was like I was looking for my coworker to do a lot of the speaking. But Stacey, that was preparation for me to have EDP 365. That was preparation for me to be in front of an audience talking about whatever, whether it's a book, whether it's Next Chance Transitions, whether it's an event coming up, whether it's having my Love in the Skin I'm In, where this is my event and I have to speak. I have to be in the forefront. So that's why I say I move forward looking back, because I think about the obstacles and things that I've overcome and where it has led me to and where I am now. I work for DOC. I only worked there probably about 2 years. I only worked for DOC probably about 2 or 3 years. Because when COVID came, it was like, I don't want to do this. And that's another story. Nothing bad, but I was used to having women coming into my class all the time. And because of COVID, they're locked into these dorms. They're locked in the dorms, which means, you know, you can't really do anything. So everything was sending them a packet out. And taking that ride way out to Goochland, I was like, no, I'm ready to move on. So, like I said, it's just those things are a constant reminder of I did that so I could be here. I'm doing this so that can happen going forward. And I thought about something. I look at you, Stacey, and congratulations on everything you do. Because just like you said, when we met, you were that kind of shy person, like, what am I going to do? But I look at you and I look at your journey, and I think about how many people you've had on your show, and not in anger or anything, because things happen the way they're supposed to happen. And all the time you and I have known each other, as much as you and I have supported each other, I've never really been on your show. And at first I was like, oh, okay, well, okay, I'm not going to be on the show. But hold on. But then when you reached out to me recently, I said it wasn't meant for me to be on her show at that time. It wasn't meant. It wasn't meant for me to share something at that time. What was meant, because you have a large platform, and you have serious guests doing serious things. Not saying that what I do isn't, but it wasn't my time. And when you reached out to me and said, "I want you to say, I want to be on the show,"
Lesley,
I'm excited
Lesley,
about that.
I'm going to pull up. My page got hacked. We done did some lives together. I can't believe that you
We done
haven't
them
been
on your
on.
platform though.
I can't believe that you haven't been on this platform. Charge it
Really?
to my head and not my heart.
What
Um,
charge it to me not remembering stuff sometimes. But
I know we've done lives. Maybe we haven't been on this platform. God knows that I love you, Lesley.
I know you do. And I'm not bothered by that. But I just knew this was, and this is why I'm not bothered by it, because this was the time that God needed me to be here to talk about next transitions. Maybe He didn't want me talking about
But
something else I
I've
was
been on
doing
a live
today.
talking about your poop. That's what I'm saying. We've done something together.
Now I feel crazy.
Lesley, it's been great. It's been great, Lesley. Um, if you could give anyone advice
Mm-hmm,
because of where you've been working and the things you've been doing,
mm-hmm.
for people that have relatives that will be coming out of prison, if you could give them any advice on helping, how can you help people? Like, is it patience that they need? Like, what would you say to them?
What would I say?
What would you say if someone had someone coming home from prison? How would you explain to them how important it is to be there for them?
This is the first thing I would say. The first thing I would say is find out if they're getting the help that they need inside the prison. I'll
Okay.
start with that. And I say that
Okay.
because I have a relative who's been in and out of prison for most of his life. And in conversations about this relative, I always say, in fact, I just had a conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago, somebody that he's close with. And I explained to that person, I said, here's the thing. I said, he's not getting the help that he needs.
While in prison.
If he's getting the help that he needs, then maybe certain things wouldn't continue to happen. So you got to look at, there's certain things you have to look at rather. I'm sorry. If you're dealing with somebody who may have a dual diagnosis, maybe this person has a mental instability, maybe this person is on drugs. When you're combining those things, if you just keep throwing somebody in prison and they're not getting the help that they need, the cycle will only repeat itself.
Right,
So that's
right.
one thing. Um, be there for that person. And sometimes, and I'm gonna be real honest, sometimes you can't always be there for that person because that person's got to be at a point where they want to be there for themselves. So I
Right,
would say
right.
that. Seek out any resources that may help them because there are tons of resources out here. There's a can you put this in for me, Stacey? There's a
Okay.
website called fairshake.net.
Fair,
Uh-huh. And it's
www.fair, F-A-I-R, shake.net.
.net. And
Okay.
that website is dedicated to people who have been incarcerated. So it's like
Okay.
tons of different resources and things on there. What I would also say is to that individual who is coming out, seek out these different resources. Again, like I said, I met a gentleman today and we had a very long conversation, very long conversation. It was myself, my coworker, and him, and we're talking to him, and he's, telling us his story, but we're telling him different things. Find out what's out there. Think outside the box. If people are turning you down, saying, "Oh, you can't work here, you can't," what else can you do? What else can you do? What are you good at? What are you passionate about? It's just so much stuff out here. Just think about 20 years ago, Stacey, when you and I were working in the workforce looking for jobs. How often was there an opportunity for us to be entrepreneurs? Be honest. How often was that opportunity there for us in comparison to 2025? Well, what
There
can you
wasn't.
do?
No
Can you
one,
do that? Right.
no one mentioned it to me.
Exactly. Exactly. So what can you do? What can you do as an entrepreneur? What thing are you skilled at? You got people came out of prison writing prison recipe books that sell. That sell.
And And Lesley, with knowing that, like what you just said, that
Uh-huh.
was going to be my last question. Well, next to
Oh,
my
we're
last
done.
question, Lesley, huh?
We're done.
No, Lesley. That was um Lesley, if someone comes out of prison, they know
Mhm.
that Next Chance Transitions gave them this bag and they need more assistance, whether it be where can I get help, mental help, where can I get
Uh-huh.
help as far as doing a resume or anything.
Hmm.
Lesley, I would think you have connections for those things, but are they part of what you're doing? Can you refer people to people?
So what happens is, Stacey, once we complete that bag, this is what we give them. This
Okay.
also goes in the bag that they get with all the stuff. So these are different resources. Um, a lot of the resources for people who are coming home is going to be your social service agencies, because a lot of people coming home get food stamps or SNAP
Okay.
benefits. They get
Okay.
Medicaid. So what they need to do is connect with those workers who have their cases. What resources are out there for me? There
Okay.
are so many job readiness places, workforce development places. People have to connect with them. And then there's so much money for them out there. For instance, the program at my job, they're like different programs like what is it? Healthcare, um, trades and manufacturing, just some different things. CDL. If you've been living in the state of Virginia for at least 12 months, 2/3 of the
Uh-huh.
tuition is already paid. 1/3 of that tuition can be paid based on income. So if you're coming home, you don't have any income. Take advantage of those free classes.
They could take classes for free.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh
Yes,
wow.
ma'am.
But to you,
Healthcare,
Leslie,
trades and
I gotta be hon-
manufacturing,
I've,
CDL, bunch
I've
of
got to
stuff.
be honest with you, Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad there's a Leslie out there because Leslie, there are people working in these for these agencies.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that are supposed to give you the information. I know this from my mother having Lou Gehrig's disease, dealing
Mm-hmm.
with the Social Security Department, social
Mm-hmm.
services, blah blah blah. They don't volunteer the information.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you're doing what, but please remember that, Leslie. If someone says to you, well, I called such and such, I'm sure you will. Maybe take the time to find somebody else for them to speak to because I don't know if people are burnt out. I don't know if people just don't care. But the very person I could go to for help won't volunteer any information. I have to
Mm-hmm.
ask questions. Some people don't know what to ask. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just give you an example. When you send someone to, let's say, social services, my
Mm-hmm.
mother needed long-term health care. So they looked at how much money she was getting from her job that she had
Mm-hmm.
worked.
Mm-hmm.
And the social worker says, well, she doesn't qualify for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, she's worked two jobs all her life. She's paid into this, paid into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember researching, and I said, she doesn't qualify for any
Mm-hmm.
kind of, I can't get any help with having someone come in and help so
Mm-hmm.
I can go to work. She says no. Lesley, waited a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at her. I said, do you guys not have anything for patients that need long-term health care?
Mm-hmm.
She pauses. Well, we do have such and such.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't going to tell me, Lesley.
Mm.
That's why, like, maybe if you get the chance, look at me adding other stuff to what you're already doing. Maybe when you're given information, Lesley,
Mm-hmm.
tell people to research or maybe have their questions written down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, everybody's not going to volunteer to help you. It's
And
their
that's
job,
right.
but they
And,
won't.
and that's what I was gonna say, Stacey, is that people have to learn to research on their own. You have to go the extra mile, especially when you're advocating for yourself.
Right.
You've got to be able to do just a little bit more research.
That's right.
So I'll say this as well, because it's not always. Sometimes somebody's a gatekeeper. Sometimes people don't know. They work there and they don't
They
know the
don't know. That's
policy.
true too. That's true
They
too.
don't know the policy. They don't know the procedure. They're not getting the training that they need. Um, In addition to that, you've got people who know old policy, they don't know what new policy
That
is.
you reminded me of. ALS disease was one of
Mm-hmm.
the diseases that if a patient had been diagnosed, you don't have to wait the normal time before you're
Mm-hmm.
approved for disability.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to three, oh my goodness, when my movie comes out, I spoke to three people
Mm-hmm.
at this Social Security department. And hey, I'm not down in the Social Security department.
Right.
I'm talking about the people that I spoke to. How do you not know if there's a list of diseases that you're supposed to speed up the process? How do you not know this is one of them? If I
Because
don't know anything else, I'm going to know who are the people that I know I can't waste time with.
mm-hmm.
So you're right. They some of them don't know the policy.
and, and,
Don't mean to
and
get so
let me say
passionate
this.
about it.
And let me say this because I've worked in a social service agency, especially the city of Richmond. Those workers are so bogged down with work and cases that sometimes they can't even breathe. They can't even breathe. So it's just so many factors that go into that. But like I said, one of the key things is it's the research.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask the same question. Don't be afraid to ask for somebody's supervisor or the manager or whoever's over the manager.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's about attendance. So I was just telling this young man today, because I've been trying to get into these reentry councils for like all of the for Richmond and the surrounding counties. And so I was telling him, one guy was like, okay, well, what can I do? What should I do? How should I get out here? Because I want to talk to kids. I said, go to these reentry council meetings. Start connecting with those people on a probation and parole board. Start connecting with these people at the sheriff's office. Let them know what you've been through. Maybe there's somebody that can help. Maybe
Right.
there is somebody that you can talk to. In Hopewell, Stacey, and I'm not real familiar with Hopewell, but there's a shopping center out in Hopewell, and they have an organization out there called Real Life. It's
Really?
called
Maybe I need to go out and go out there and interview somebody.
It's
Really?
called Real Life, and they help with like gang related stuff, those kind of issues, trying to keep people, young folks from getting their hands on guns and staying out of trouble. So, like I said, a lot of things is researching. A lot of
Research.
things is
Yeah.
going online and looking for some different things and figuring out, well, how do I do this and how do I do that? And again, when you got resources right in front of you, if you're a person receiving SNAP or TANF, you talk to that worker and find out what resources are out there. Here's something that I know, and this is from you working in social services. Those agencies are giving so much money every year in a grant or what have you. And so there's money for people to go to school. There's money for people to get their cars fixed. There's money for transportation. There's money out there. What I found in working in these agencies is that a lot of time people want to place blame on the agency and not on the people who receive the services. There was a program, and this is how you know it was a long time ago, because it was John Tyler. So we had a program where we would send people to John Tyler for classes. Well, it started off with a good group of people, and then they just started to fall off and fall off and fall off. So there were not enough people to continue to run a program, and we lost the grant.
Oh
We
wow.
lost the grant because people didn't follow through. I know you need to go, but Stacey,
Well,
you get
we
me
are.
talking about something. You get me talking about something. Let me tell this last story.
We may have to have you come back on.
Let me tell you this one thing. One
Okay.
thing. So, like I said, I used to work for Richmond Redevelopment and Housing, and with that one, I was a family self sufficiency coordinator. So you would
Uh-huh.
help people in housing to get this money, and they would get thousands and thousands of dollars to help them. So get to this program, and you gotta be able to go out into the community and talk to these people. And
Right.
so I'm standing there with one of my coworkers, and she's like, "Hey, you need to come over here and talk to Lesley about this program that she has." And the girl stood there loudly and said, "I ain't getting no help. I ain't
Yes.
trying to go through no programs. Let me finish. I'm
That's
just trying to
another
see.
conversation,
Hold on.
Leslie.
I'm just trying to see what else I can get from the government."
Leslie, that's another conversation, sweetheart. Um, Leslie,
Yeah,
I appreciate you, sweetheart. I
I
always do.
appreciate you, beauty.
Um, we'll have to have you back on to see exactly how things are going.
Thank you.
This has been a great conversation to hear your side because you are somebody that have worked in these departments. And I stress things like to people, especially when I know you're helping
Mhm,
people, just certain things that please remember, we got to tell people to do their research, like you said. And
mhm,
unfortunately, and I get it, Lesley, I'll say this because I get a little passionate sometimes when I'm advocating.
mhm,
I get it that people are bogged down. I get it that people are not treated well on their jobs.
mhm,
But at the end of the day, when we're in a position where we're supposed to bless someone, Lesley,
mhm,
we got to get out of our own way.
mhm,
That's just how I feel.
mhm,
And more people should be like that. More people should be like you. And because you already know this is what God has for you, I am
mhm.
looking forward to having you back on the show to tell me you're in Stacey. We were in Virginia and now my organization is spread to North Carolina.
Yeah, speak it into existence. Okay, this is it. This is it. I promise. I do want to say there are a lot of workers who work for the Department of Social Services who are passionate and do all they can to help with the little resources and
and
bad
and
management
that's great.
to help you.
I've met some nice people.
Mm-hmm.
I've met some nice people. It's just I've seen I've had the chance to work, and that's with any agency. The people
Mm-hmm.
that really care about what they're doing, and then the people that could care
That
less.
don't. Mm-hmm.
Real quick, Lesley. So actually, he's my cousin. He supports me all the time. Curtis says I came out
Hmm.
20 years ago and started a trucking company. I've been to 36 states and
Good
foreign
for
countries.
you.
Well, man, you just a hustler.
Is it where do you live at? We need you.
Yeah,
Where do you live at?
he's got, I say it's in his genes, but so he's a great example, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But he's one of those people that come from a good family that he knows he ain't gonna sit around, and he just got that good work
Right.
thing
Mm-hmm.
in him. But yeah, thank you, sweetheart. And it
No,
is
you.
I'm proud of him. I am proud of him. Tawanda says great information, Lesley.
You. Thank you. Thank
Sharon
you.
Matthews. I don't know if you know about my new show, Lesley. We do it on Tuesday nights. Exhale with Sharon and Stacey.
Mhm.
Sharon is a therapist.
Oh, wow,
Um,
cool.
Sharon is a very intelligent therapist. I don't know if that's someone that you would want to connect with. If you do, I'll link you two up, or you can reach out to her, Lesley.
That would be
Um,
great.
Tawanda says, love when people share information instead of keeping it to themselves.
Mhm.
We had one of those people tonight, didn't we, Tawanda? So, Lesley,
Yes.
how can they reach you again?
So, my telephone number for Next Trans Transition is 804-852-9275. Again, 804-852-9275. You can reach out to us on Facebook, and that's going to be Next Trans Transitions. That's the page, not the group. Please follow us. Also, now this is going to sound crazy, but the email address is rvatransition, no S. RVA
RV,
transition.
RV
RVA
transition, RVA transition.
transition, singular, not plural,
Okay.
at gmail.com. So yeah, we're always looking for donations. You can donate cash, you can donate items, share the information. Sometimes, sharing is not always about money. Share the information. Talk to these ladies. Go into the prison. It's not that hard. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
DMAT.
I forgot the
Mhm.
L. Wait a second.
That's okay. You could
Okay.
borrow one of the L's from earlier today.
Yeah. So is that it?
um,
Wait a second. Is that it?
RVA transition. Yup, that's it.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Stacy's gonna have a team one day to take care of this for her.
Yup, you sure are. Because you are doing wonderful and amazing things. Because you are so wonderful and amazing. And I just want to say
You are
this,
too.
Stacey. I just love to see your growth. You're just doing so many great and amazing things. I have enjoyed connecting with you. Although we don't get to talk all the time, when we do connect, I know that we're there for each other to help each other through this journey of being brand builders, entrepreneurs, and business owners. And my mom loves you. But
That's Lesley. I was going to say this. Tell your mother I said hello.
She loves Stacey Thomas.
tell, tell your beautiful mother I said hello. She's here now.
Yeah, she is. She's been here for a while. But I know, I'm Stacey. I would just go on and on about RVA transitions
I love you.
and all
I
that
love
stuff.
you.
I know you got to go, but thank you
Okay.
so much for this opportunity. I greatly appreciate it. And
You're,
yeah, if you
you're,
could please have me back, have my team back, so we can get this help that we need to help these ladies as they transition out of prison.
we'll talk about it, sweetheart. You know what? Thank you. Thank you. And if I don't text fast enough or call, you call me.
Of
I'm
course.
going back and check my videos to make sure you ain't telling no tale on me. Okay.
You know what? If my mom was thinking the wrong thing, I will take you out to dinner.
Okay. Lesley, have a great one, sweetheart. And thank you again
Thank
for coming
you.
on the show.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Daisy.
Want to be heard? Get featured on The Stacey Thomas Show. Join Stacey for conversations on entertainment, books, and entrepreneurship. Don't miss out. Elevate your brand today. Book your interview now. Email staceythomas@gmail.com.